Welcome to the Love Holistic Living podcast, your roadmap to heal and align mind, body, and soul and become intuitive through food, pleasure, and spirituality with your host and Italian friend, Sara Garofalo. So, hello everyone. My name is Sara with Love Holistic Living, and I'm here with Mary today. And I'm so excited to have you here, Mary, because we are going to talk a little bit about your journey and your health journey and your transformation. And again, I'm so honored to be here with you, and I'm going to introduce yourself and let us know a little bit about you and what you do. And yeah, go ahead, Mary.
Okay, well, my name is Mary. I'm a small business owner on the Central Coast with a couple of locations. I work in the insurance and financial services industry. I have, about 10 employees in all parts of the country. And I have about 3,000 households. So I stay very, very busy all the time. And I came across Sara because I'm a member at a gym in San Luis Obispo, and she had been talking with one of the owners about a different approach to health and to weight loss. And I think I needed to hear that at that point in my life. So that's how I connected.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so we understand that you are a very business and very busy businesswoman, right? So you're busy, and I know that you have a lot of employees and a lot of responsibilities to take care of. So when I met you, and we're going actually to go deeper on where you were at when we started connecting. And then we're going to talk about where you're at now. But because you run a business and you have a lot of employees and you're always constantly having to make sure everything runs perfectly, right? There is a lot of, say, management and also stress involved with that. And I think a lot of the women out there are going to relate with this message because there are so many women out there that have businesses, but also that work full time. So let us know a little bit about where you were at when we started connecting.
Well, I think first of all, I should let everyone know that I have dieted, quote unquote, lost weight, gained weight, lost weight, gained weight, probably my entire life. I grew up as an athlete. I was a figure skater. We kind of starved ourselves to be thin to skate. And it was just part of the sport.
Yeah.
But then later in life, you gain weight and then you have children. And there's like this 30, 40 pounds that just seems to fluctuate all the time throughout life. And as I noticed as I was getting through menopause, that those 30 pounds were not coming off.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would go in for my doctor's visit, and I had an annual physical, and my cholesterol numbers were through the roof. And he put me on a statin, which I just did not want. I'm like, oh, I can manage this with diet. And he said, well, that's fine. Then you need to eat less than 1,000 calories a day. And I did that for like 2 months and I lost 2 pounds. And I'm like, okay, this is not an answer. This is not working. And so then I heard your talk with Peyton Hughes, and I thought, let me look at this from a different point of view because this is not working. I also have family with a lot of cancer. My mother died of breast cancer. My father had heart attack, quadruple bypass. And I just knew that, if I didn't get the cholesterol numbers back in control, that I was going to have other issues. So that was where I started. And my cholesterol was over 300. And then just again, there are other factors like the work, the stress,
Yeah.
not having any consistency. Like I ate out a lot of meals. I did not have consistent meal times. I did not have consistent bedtimes. Like I probably left my office 3 or 4 nights a week after midnight.
Yeah.
And then once I get home, grab something out of the fridge and then go to sleep at 2 a.m. and then do it all again at 6 the next morning. So there were just a lot of things that weren't working. And from the medical point of view, trying to do it as my physician suggested, that wasn't a long term solution. You can't live on 1,000 calories a day for the rest of your life.
No, no, I totally agree. I was under 1,200 calories for 2 years, and it was not sustainable. I actually ended up gaining all the weight back and eating all the foods that I missed in those 2 years. So yeah, we know that path, and I think many women are relating to this message right now because we get into these cycles, right? We think that we need to restrict and in order to lose weight. And then, yes, there is part of what you mentioned, your lifestyle was not consistent, and your job hours, and also your meal time, so they were not consistent. But let's take a look at where you're at right now and what changed, because you shared with me some numbers that I think they're really, really important to share today. So
Well, I recently had a physical and
yeah.
it was a recheck because I basically quit taking my statins about 2 months ago. I did not like the effect they had on my muscle tissue. And I do work out. I'm, 5 to 6 days a week. I have a fitness routine that I was already committed to. And taking those statins really bothered my muscle tissue. Now, is that, am I going to recommend to other people quit taking your medication? No, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
But I just didn't like how much pain I was feeling. And I'm thinking, okay, my diet, everything had changed. Well, then we did the blood work and it confirmed that I had lost about 75 points in my cholesterol numbers, which brought me down to where my physician said, okay, you can safely be off of that
Mm-hmm.
medication and just continue to do the work you're doing. He's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, I'm eating differently. I'm eating more consistently, still keeping my fitness routine.
Yeah.
But yes, so that was really one of the changes. The other change is that trying to have a different approach to my work, trying to have a different approach to my home life because I have a very understanding family, given that I work anywhere between 60 to 70 hours a week. So my husband does a lot of the meal preparation. He's actually gone on board with this to support me. And as a byproduct, I think my daughter's probably lost 20 pounds and my husband is also eating healthier. But, just to bring me back into my family life, because, when you work all the time and you dedicate all of your energy into one place, something else has to be affected. So in my case, having more structure and having more knowledge allows me to have a more holistic or full life instead of just one segment. So I'm still working on the stress part and I'm still working, we're getting there.
We're still working together. Yeah. But
But it's a daily reminder and you know commitment that you make. And I'm seeing changes. I'm seeing changes in the way I work differently. um, so it's allowing to free up a little more time so that I can commit to my own health, because the bottom line is if I don't get this under control, and I think I voiced to you one of my greatest fears when we started this in the beginning was if something happens to me, my husband would have to step in and
mhm.
take my business over and deal with all those details, and I really did not want to put him in that position. He's a busy person in his own
Yeah.
career. And so, that was also one of the motivators that I needed to get everything under control so that I don't burden, whether it be for my business or for my health later. that I don't burden my daughter with having to care for me. Just there were a lot of considerations. It
Yeah.
wasn't just how do I look in my jeans.
Yeah, and that's what I want women to understand, that it's about your health and how to feel healthier and start this journey from within, because like you said, it's important to come from that place rather than, I mean, obviously we want to look good, but at the end of the day, we don't want to have all these health issues when we after menopause, right? That's usually when I've noticed that women are like, oh shoot, I've got to get this under control. And it's about time, I feel like, and it's about that people know that it's a holistic journey, right? Like you said, like there are so many pieces of this puzzle that we've been working together to get under control, and then we've seen the amazing results. And the doctor like asked you like, hey, what are you doing that my 1,000 calorie didn't work, what's happening over here? So that was amazing to hear, and it's amazing to hear that it's affecting your family in the most positive way, because that's what I want. At the end of the day, I want to empower women to get their health um, under control, but also to become their healthiest version, but also really understand that whatever you do, it's going to impact your daughter's life, your son's life, your husband, that he's on board, he's actually cooking meals um, for you, and that shows a tremendous love. And I'm so pleased to hear about your daughter. I didn't know. So yeah, it's so amazing to hear the ripple effect of this. And yeah, like we've said already, we're still working together. I mean, it's been like five months, and we're still working, because like you said, it's a process. I mean, we don't gain weight overnight.
Yeah.
So people need to understand that it's a commitment, and it's a long lasting journey for the overall health. But I wanted to ask you, what was the biggest transformation for you? What is the biggest thing that you've learned so far?
I think for me, it's probably more structure. I tend to kind of do things for other people first and not create any structure to support myself. So I spend a lot of time, whether it's with family, I do a lot of charity work in the community, various charities that I'm involved with, and then my business and my clients and my employees, and I get there's a piece of me split in all those different paths, and there isn't me, like everything is for everyone else, and there's very little that I would never put myself first. I would always put I mean, it could be the person walking down the street that I don't even know, and I'm putting them, it's like, time for me to close the door and get in the car and go home, but someone's at the door and they need something. And of course, I'm going to do whatever I can to help them. But I've had to learn that it's okay to say no to some things that are not adding to your goals, your
Yeah.
joy, your there are other people that can take on some of those duties. I think delegation is another piece, just making
Yeah.
sure that when you're delegating, whether it's at home or in your work life, that I mean, I don't, I'm not a person that hovers and meddles anyway into it, but I still am involved. People still turn back and ask, "Is this okay?" It's like, "Hey, I trust
Yeah.
you. You can do this. You can do this without me even. I trust you." So those are some of the stronger, because I think the food is like, to me, the food is the easiest part of this, which in the past, I always thought the food was the hardest part, because you're always thinking, okay, when I do this for 6 months or a year or however long it takes to get that goal weight
Mm-hmm.
that you're looking for, you still migrate back to old habits. And that I have not done that with this. I mean, my food choices have been very consistent.
Yeah.
Uh, it's and getting a handle on some of these other things have been, I think, what we've spent more time on in my case. You know,
Yeah.
everyone's different. So for someone
Oh,
else, the food might be the harder part, but that was the easy part for me. It is just the lifestyle in general.
I think to be honest, I think 90% of the women can relate to this. I mean, we all know what to do at the end of the day. Like we've done diets. We know if we put ourselves if we commit to a diet, right? So many of us have done this. We know what to do more or less, okay? So the trickiest part and the hardest part is everything else, which has it has um many doors, right? Many things that influence our health and our lifestyle. There is the sleep, there is work, there is environment, there is workout, which I think having the gymnasio as in town, I mean, it's a blessing for everyone because I think it's the best place we could work out right now. But yeah, so it's everything else because at the end of the day, we need to be able to understand how our body works and how to handle cravings and stress. I think stress is a big one, right?
Well, and there were a lot of changes when you're talking about changes. I mean, I used to drink 10 to 12 cups of coffee a day. And I could drink a cup of coffee, caffeinated coffee at midnight and go right to sleep. So there was that transition of trying to eliminate that routine of coffee, and get it down to, you know, a cup or so a day, going to non-caffeine options, a lot of other variations that we did that I then started to see other changes, things that I would have
Mhm.
never noticed before. Like, I mean, you know, this is kind of graphic, but getting into like even just your daily, you know, bowel movements. Like
Mhm.
I could go like 2 or 3 days, not experience that, and then wonder like, why am I so puffy? Why do I feel sluggish? And now I'm pretty regular,
Right.
which I don't think I've ever been in my life. So that is something very different. Um, you know, we've talked about eating some foods and how they affect. I had um, like an allergy type eye, you know,
Yeah.
conjunctivitis, and you know, we talked about what I was eating, and I eliminated one of the items, and next thing you know, the eye
Conjunctivitis.
irritation
Yeah.
went away. So it's interesting how food is medicine, but food can also cause some of these other issues. And I think where I'm at now, after working together all this time, that I'm finally getting to a point where I think my body is healing internally from a lot of what I've been, you know, fast food or
Yeah.
just, you know, food that is really not nourishing me and it's creating inflammation in my body. So, yeah, there are a lot of components to this. It's not just a diet. It's not just a fitness plan. It's just it is, to your name, holistic health.
Yeah. Yeah. And thank you for sharing because if anybody has to take one thing out of this interview today is pretty much the holistic part of it. And that's what I want people to hear your story because it's so powerful that it's not just a diet, it's everything else that approaches our health. And seeing how far you've come. And also, you said something really powerful that your body is finally healing. And that's what happened to me. It wasn't like, yeah, 8 weeks can get you somewhere. 10 weeks can get you a little bit further. But when you adopt this for a long period of time, that's when your body's going to start to really heal. And that it's so powerful. So thank you so much for sharing this, Mary. And I'm so glad that we were able to make it today, even though my other computer broke down. But I'm so excited, and I am sure that other people will find this super inspiring.
Yeah, well,
So
thank you. I appreciate you. And it's been, I mean, I feel like there's still so much to learn. I feel like this is something you could study, for your lifetime and be a student of and just continue to learn and grow. It's like yoga. Each time you do it, it's a new practice.
yeah,
And to just keep growing and being open to those changes, because, you know, if you don't do it for yourself, it can't happen. No one can make this happen for you. You have to want to make that change and to be healthier and live a better life, a long life, if you can.
yes, so powerful. Nobody else can. You have to commit to your change.
Mhm.
Yeah, so powerful. And thank you so much, Mary. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And yeah, we'll talk soon.